can't wait to hear what you have to say. What's your reaction to Reese's comments?
How did that happen? How did we get here? What she just said, the national championship game. We were not talking about Caitlin Clark before Angel Reese walked up to her, did this, and pointed to the ring. This is not my opinion. I lived it. I watched it. It was recorded. It was broadcasted live. We were not talking about Caitlin Clark before that moment. And that's okay, because you can be extremely talented and not interested.
What occurs when an experienced commentator meets an emerging talent? We're about to find out. Joy Taylor, known for addressing bold topics, recently made comments that appeared to take aim at Caitlin Clark, sparking significant attention. However, it's Clark's next move that's really making waves. Her response? Let's just say it's something that caught everyone off guard.
Teams are going to pick up Caitlin Clark from the second she touches the basketball. That's what Burton did there. All over Caitlin going inside. I mean, that's a foul.
At just 21 years old, Caitlin Clark, a rising star in basketball, was already a legend in the making. Her brilliance on the court had captivated millions, each move a masterclass in precision and passion. But tonight, Caitlin wasn't in the spotlight. She wasn't the guest of honor. Instead, she sat quietly at one of the tables in the back, invited through a family connection. She wasn't seeking attention, though it often seemed to follow her. As the event unfolded, Caitlin observed silently, her keen mind absorbing every detail with the same focus that made her a force to be reckoned with on the basketball court. What she didn't know was that this seemingly ordinary night was about to take an unexpected turn, one that would leave everyone in attendance speechless.
Wake up call, same time. How would I not know how hard it is to do the show I work on? You have to wake up call, same time. How would I not know how hard it is to do the show I work on? You have to constantly reaffirm that you are good enough, that you belong there, and then always prove it. So I would just always say you gotta do twice the work to get half the opportunity. But that, to me, the mentality I've always had on it is that's just gonna make me better. So that's why I'm excellent, because I had to be. I couldn't be average. I couldn't be okay. I couldn't be late. I couldn't complain. I couldn't say no. Now I do.
The gala flowed smoothly, a blend of light conversation, polished speeches, and trays of delicate hors d'oeuvres. Everything about the evening exuded sophistication and ease until Joy Taylor stepped onto the stage. Known across the country for her sharp wit, Joy had a reputation for captivating audiences and leaving them stunned. Dressed to perfection, she grinned as she began her speech, her humor drawing soft laughter from the crowd. But charm, as it often does, began to reveal another side as she continued. The tone in the room began to shift, her light-hearted anecdotes giving way to something more pointed, more provocative. The audience leaned in, sensing a storm was coming, one that would center on Caitlin Clark. Joy's voice, smooth and commanding, took on a hint of mischief as she paused to survey the crowd. Of course, she began with a smirk. We can't talk about the future of sports without mentioning women's basketball's golden child. Caitlin Clark's head turned toward the stage, her expression unreadable. Joy raised her chin, delivering her words with calculated flair. At first, it seemed like praise, but the underlying mockery quickly became undeniable. Must be nice, Joy teased, her smile half friendly, half knowing. How can you not shine when the whole game is built around your strengths? The room shifted uneasily. Murmurs of discomfort filled the air, and a few nervous laughs quickly faded into silence. It was clear. Joy wasn't holding back, and now, all eyes were on Caitlin.
Able to secure defensive boards. LSU, an outstanding offensive rebounding team. Clark, connects!
Caitlin remained perfectly still. She didn't laugh, frown, or even flinch. Her hands rested calmly on the table, her posture unshakably confident. Yet, the space around her seemed to freeze as her silence became the most powerful statement she could make. Joy's words grew sharper with every passing second, but Caitlin absorbed them without a trace of irritation. To the casual observer, it might have seemed like she didn't care, but anyone paying close attention could sense that her silence was not indifference. It was strength, her refusal to be drawn into something beneath her. The once lively warmth of the gala shifted, replaced by a thick, stifling tension. Even Joy, known for her unflappable composure, faltered slightly. her smugness was replaced by the briefest flicker of uncertainty. Caitlin's silence had altered the atmosphere in a way no one had expected. It was as if her calm had reflected back onto Joy and the entire room, challenging them without uttering a word. It wasn't defiance. It was discipline, steel wrapped in grace. The same strength Caitlin brought to the basketball court was now on display in a completely different arena.
Since the Marina Mabry trade, and she has stepped up her game in that opportunity. Caitlin Clark for three, rattles it around for her first deep shot.
Then Caitlin moved, quietly and deliberately. She pushed her chair back, the soft scrape of it cutting through the heavy silence of the ballroom. As she rose, her height commanded attention effortlessly. The room seemed to shrink around her, and every eye followed her every move. Slowly, she began walking toward the stage, each step echoing with quiet authority against the polished floor, each second charged with anticipation. There was no rush in her movement, no reaction to the tension. It was clear this wasn't an impulsive decision. Every step was purposeful, calculated, and utterly commanding. The room held its breath. Joy Taylor, who had once owned the stage with her every word and joke, now stood frozen. Her confident smile had faded, her gaze locked with Caitlin's. For the first time that evening, the fearless journalist seemed uneasy. The once bright ballroom seemed to grow dimmer, the weight of the moment pressing down on it. Caitlin climbed the short steps to the stage with a calm, unreadable expression, as if the drama unfolding below her hadn't fazed her in the slightest. She reached the podium, pausing to let the silence stretch, amplifying the tension that had already settled over the room. The crowd was still, waiting, stunned. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for, a collision of two powerful forces. Joy, with her sharp tongue and quick wit, and Caitlin, with her quiet strength that could silence an entire room. The stage was set for a clash, words versus composure, provocation against restraint. Caitlin adjusted the microphone slightly, her eyes scanning the room before settling back on Joy. Then, with a steady voice and words that would echo in the minds of everyone present, she began.
Yeah, you know, your announcement for Athlete of the Year, like tremendous, incredible positive feedback. That's what we've seen across the board. There's always going to be some negativity. And I feel like you have had to answer more questions than anybody about the intersectionality of race and gender and sexuality in sport, because of just who you are and you represent the growth of this thing. And even today, earlier today, Megyn Kelly, she was saying that you were apologizing for your white privilege and the fact that you wanted to uplift Black female athletes and make sure that they were getting the shine, kind of like your pioneers were getting the shine that they deserved. And I just want to know how you feel or how you respond to some of those criticisms when you have to deal with something that it's really not your problem. Like, I feel like it's them looking in a mirror a little bit, but it still comes down on your shoulders.
I feel like I always have had really good perspective on everything that's kind of happened in my life, whether that's been good, whether that's been bad. And then obviously coming to the WNBA, like I've said, I feel like I've earned every single thing.
The room was thick with tension as Caitlin stepped onto the stage, but her first words, unexpectedly calm and measured, sliced through the air like a breath of fresh air. "Thank you for your perspective," she began, her voice steady and clear. The simplicity of her opening was disarming, yet it carried a weight that immediately silenced the murmurs in the crowd. Her tone was neither defensive nor confrontational. Instead, it was imbued with a quiet confidence that didn't demand respect, but effortlessly commanded it in just a few sentences. Caitlin had turned what could have been an emotional confrontation into a powerful lesson in composure.
Last year, from when I started my last college season and not knowing if that would actually be my last season, whether I was deciding to come back to college or turn pro, and now sitting here like I'm done with my first professional season and so much has happened, and whether it was, making the national championship game or getting the Fever back to the playoffs since 2016, there's just a lot to be proud of, and it all happened so fast, like it's hard to appreciate in the moment and kind of understand in the moment, but it's been fun to reflect on. I'm definitely more aware of signs than people think I am, and I think it's something really cool to look around before.
She didn't shy away from the criticism. "When you're in the public eye, that's just how it goes," Caitlin said with a deliberate nod, fully aware of the scrutiny that came with her success. But her response didn't end there. She shifted the narrative in a way that captivated everyone in the ballroom, reminding them that beyond the statistics and headlines lay a human story, stories of perseverance, struggle, and triumph. As she spoke, her words seemed to reach not just Joy, the journalist who had criticized her, but the entire room. Each syllable resonated with a deeper truth. The tension in the air began to soften, and what had started as a moment of discomfort melted into a shared reflection. In Caitlin's graceful acknowledgement of the criticism, she transformed what could have been a personal defense into something greater. Her message wasn't just for herself or for Joy. It was universal, a call for empathy and a reminder of humanity in a world quick to judge both its stars and detractors. For those few moments, the crowd hung on every word, as if understanding had replaced judgment and admiration had replaced division.
To leave it all out there.
Caitlin, that you had at Iowa, both your junior and your senior year, you had 5 or 6 of these, right?
Yeah.
Where you literally, when you showed up in the arena, you did not know if it was your last game or not. Can you take any of that from junior year and senior year into a situation like this?
Yeah, I think it's like you approach it in a way of like you don't want this to be the end. Like you want to keep coming back here. You want to keep coming to practice. You want to keep having shoot around.
In realistic, like, these things matters to young girls. Like, representation matters, and having the actual platform matters. And I think it's important that we have these conversations. Now, I don't know how much you be in your Twitter mentions, but we're talking about equal pay for women. So it really upsets people. Like, it bothers people in their soul. I don't know why, but
I don't know why.
I don't know.
And it's mostly people that have no idea about sports.
Right.
They just assume,
or business at all.
Or business at all. But you will never hear an NBA player or any professional male athlete say the things that random people say about we shouldn't be getting paid as much. Like, you would never hear a professional athlete
Actually,
say
the NBA players advocate for
they advocate
fair
for
pay.
us.
Any athlete, anyone who spent time in the athletic arena wouldn't say the things that they're saying. That's what you get. Yeah.
It used to bother me, but now it's like irrelevant.
Last November, and the game didn't need saving. I don't know who came up with Caitlin was a savior. That's not true. What the game needed was a disruption in the economic marketplace, and that's what we're seeing here, and that's why it's been so fun.
I'm just gonna, reflect back and appreciate everything we've been able to accomplish together.
What will you remember from this team?
I think, more than the wins and, losses, it's just all the moments in between, This is a confident group of girls, and if you have a young daughter or a young son, this is the type of team you want them to emulate and look up to, because this group is, tremendous people, and I truly mean that.